Hey guys, jrpg back at it with another video, and today we are talking about Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and I'm super excited about talking about this game. You know why? Because this is one of the main reasons why I made this series. Blank Game deserves an apology, because back in the day, Xenoblade 2 was a game I despised. I thought the game was super lame, super boring, and just the combat was just not it. And then many years later, I ended up playing it again, and well, I found out real quick how wrong I was. So not only does this game deserve an apology from me, but maybe others that also gave up on it. And we're definitely going to talk about that. But before we get into the video, guys, if you don't mind liking the video, subscribing to the channel, we do a bunch of content here, a lot of variety stuff too, whether it's JRPGs, Nintendo games, anything in between. So if you want to join the clan, please do by hitting that subscribe button. But anyways, that's enough shilling. Let's talk about why I believe Xenoblade Chronicles 2 deserves an apology. Alright, let's talk about the black sheep of the Xenoblade family. Yeah, I know, Xenoblade Chronicles X exists, but that's more of a cousin. A weird experimental side game with mechs and endless grinding. When people bring up Xenoblade Trilogy, it's really 1, 2, and 3. And out of those, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has always been the odd one out. When it dropped in 2017, it got mixed reactions. Some people loved it right away, but a lot of folks bounced off hard. The complaints? Take your pick. The combat was too complicated, slow, and confusing. The anime-inspired aesthetics threw off fans of the more grounded look of Xenoblade 1. The pacing could drag, and of course, the infamous character designs. Let's be honest, Xenoblade 2 looks like someone told a group of horny artists, yeah, go nuts. Now, I'll admit, back then I didn't really know much about the series. The only reason I knew Xenoblade Chronicles 1 existed was from the crazy good word of mouth it had on the Wii. My first actual taste of the franchise, Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Wii U. I bought it, played it for a few weeks, and moved on. Didn't hate it, didn't love it, just didn't stick. Funny enough, I adore it now that it's on Switch. You can check the review out on my channel if you want my full thoughts. But at the time, it didn't grab me. So Xenoblade 2 was really where it all started for me. I still remember seeing the first trailer and immediately falling in love with the look. I know people made fun of the anime vibe, but I thought it looked gorgeous. Add in the fact that JRPGs are my favorite genre, and with the word of mouth around Xenoblade 1 being so strong, I knew I had to jump in. And let's not forget, the Switch's first year was insane. Zelda, Splatoon 2, ARMS, Mario Odyssey. Nintendo could have ended the year there and it still would have been legendary. But no, they capped 2017 off with Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Either they were supremely confident or completely insane. December came and I got the game day one. My first impressions, extremely positive. I loved Rex, Pyra, and Nia right away. The music slapped, the story hooked me instantly. This was it. But then the cracks started to show. The combat? I couldn't make heads or tails of it. The tutorial system in this game is like someone explaining calculus to you on a sticky note. The navigation system sucked. I swear this was the most lost I've been in any open world game ever. And then I hit the wall. If you played this game, you know exactly what I mean. The field skills requirement to progress. You can't just brute force your way through Xenoblade 2. You need to actually understand its mechanics. Back then, I was the type of player who, if I didn't understand something, I just ignored it and muscled through. But you can't do that here. And so, I quit. That sucked because I hate quitting RPGs I've sunk hours into. But I wasn't alone. Even beat 'em ups, one of the biggest Nintendo YouTubers at the time, gave the game a pretty scathing review, calling it dull and boring. So I shelved it and moved on. Fast forward to the pandemic, everyone was stuck at home, everyone had time, and gaming boomed. We had Animal Crossing, New Horizons, Final Fantasy VII Remake, even Pokemon Mystery Dungeon somehow made a comeback. And then came Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. At first I was skeptical. If I didn't click with Xenoblade 2, why bother? But people kept saying, no, trust me, 1 is so much better. So I gave it a chance and wow. From the opening cutscene to the final boss, I was hooked. Xenoblade 1 is an absolute masterpiece. After finishing it, I knew one day I'd have to give 2 another chance. But I didn't. Time went on, lockdown ended, and I still had that negative feeling about Xenoblade 2. It wasn't until Xenoblade 3 came out that I knew I couldn't put it off any longer. These games may have self-contained stories, but they're connected, and 2 is essential to completing the puzzle, especially with Future Redeem on the horizon at the time. So I finally went back. This time I swallowed my pride, did some research, and actually learned how to play the game. And suddenly, it clicked. I broke through the wall, and you know what happened next? I binged the game for 2 weeks straight, and by the end, I realized something. Xenoblade 2 isn't just good, it might actually be my favorite Xenoblade. Yeah, I know, bold claim, but hear me out. The characters are fantastic. Rex may start off as a bit of a goof, but his growth over the game makes him one of my favorite JRPG protagonists. Pyra and Mithra, both incredible, and Mithra especially is one of my favorite characters in the series. Nia, don't even get me started. Her arc is amazing, and the villains, they're not your typical I'm evil because evil is fun type of bad guys. They got depth, motivations, and the DLC Torn of the Golden Country fleshes them out even more. And the music. Monolith Soft doesn't just make good RPG soundtracks, they make legendary ones. Xenoblade 2's OST might honestly be my favorite of the bunch. Counterattack is one of those tracks that make every boss fight feel like a final showdown. The field themes are absolutely beautiful. The game nails that balance of epic orchestral arrangements with calmer emotional pieces that make exploring feel like an adventure. Even the town themes, Argentum's cheery little marketplace jingle, Moradane's industrial banger, they stick in your head. It's one of those soundtracks where I could list tracks for hours and not hit a weak spot. And then there's the worlds. Exploring the Titans never stop blowing blowing me away. The idea of entire civilizations living on the backs of these massive creatures is just peak Monolith creativity. Each time feels like its own ecosystem, from the lush plains of Gormat to the snow-covered Tantal to the industrial mechanical vibe of Moradane. Even if the map system is clunky, wandering these places and realizing you're literally walking across a living, breathing giant creature, that never gets old. There's so much side content tucked into corners too, little stories that flesh out the world. Some side quests are filler, sure, but when they hit, they add layers to both the characters and the lore. And then the combat. On the surface, it feels like a mess. Auto attacks, cooldowns, driver arts, blade combos, chain attacks, elemental orbs, cancels. It's overwhelming. But once you learn how it all flows together, it's one of the most satisfying systems in the series. It's like spinning plates that eventually turn into a perfectly timed symphony. Landing a full elemental combo into a chain attack and watching the damage numbers explode, that's addictive. The combat forces you to think about synergy between characters and blades, to actually engage with mechanics instead of button mashing. Yes, it's a steep learning curve, but on the other side of it is some of the most rewarding JRPG combat I've ever played. Now, the elephant in the room, the character designs. Look, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend Xenoblade 2 doesn't have some of the most ridiculous, over-the-top fan service, because it does. But behind the big boobs and goofy outfits are some genuinely well-written, fleshed-out characters with emotional arcs worth caring about. And honestly, without Xenoblade 2's success, we wouldn't have Xenoblade 3, we wouldn't have the remaster of 1, and we probably wouldn't have gotten X back either. It kept the series alive. At the end of the day, Xenoblade 2 has flaws, but it's also a masterpiece in its own right. It deserves better than being written off as the black sheep. It deserves an apology. From the critics, from the fans who gave up on it, and most importantly, from me. If you bounced off Xenoblade 2 before, I highly recommend giving it another shot. Learn the mechanics, embrace the chaos, and dive into one of the most emotional JRPG adventures out there. The future of Xenoblade looks brighter than ever, and 2 deserves to be part of that conversation. And that's why I believe Xenoblade Chronicles 2 deserves an apology. Whether it's for the world, the music, or the characters. I'm looking at you, Pyra. I truly think this game is just a good time, guys. If you're looking for a good JRPG to sink your time into, look no further than the Xenoblade Chronicles trilogy. And yes, I said trilogy because all of the games are phenomenal. But let me know what you guys think. Do you feel like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is overly hated, overly loved, or somewhere in between? Have you given it a chance and you just, don't care for it? Or do you think it's a masterpiece like I do? Let me know down in the comments below. But anyways, that'll do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. I love you all so much, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.